Grayson, back with another video. If you are not already, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me. I'm trying to say this all the time, trying to move my audience a little bit from my Instagram to here to watch my videos. If you are not following me on Instagram, please head over there and follow me on Instagram. I'm always doing fun creative looks and posting a bunch of stuff over there. I kind of originated my content on Instagram, so a lot of stuff goes on over there. Today we are doing something very different from our normal whatever. I am going to do a get ready with me story time. So we're gonna do a full face of makeup and I'm going to tell y'all a little story. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a longer video. If that is not for you, I understand. You can go ahead, you've been warned, and head out, and I will see you on the next one. But if you like story times, sit down and get in your makeup with me if that's something you want to do, or grab some popcorn and just get ready because it's a good one. So this story, my best friend Hannah, she was in one of my past videos just recently, if you want to go check that out. But she's she's been my best friend for 18 years, and this is one of her favorite stories of all time, and she said you should totally do a story time get ready with me with this story. So I was like, okay. And the story is I would say one of the worst dates I ever had, if not the worst date I ever had. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some clips in my hair and clip my hair back, looking all crazy, but I can't have it in my way while I'm doing my makeup. I just can't do it. So we're just gonna get my hair out of the way and we're gonna start with some makeup and we're gonna get into the story. I don't ever really put my full makeup routine everywhere. Like, I don't do full faces. I usually am already primed or whatever have you. I've literally done nothing yet today. And I'm also like weird about people judging how I like to do things. So we don't do negativity here. If you don't like the routine I do to my face, please feel free to not do it to your face. And I'm gonna say that in the most polite way possible. Please feel free to not do anything that I'm doing if you do not agree with it. So, but I'm starting out with my 4th Ray Beauty Acai Face Milk. And I like to use this because it's an anti-pollutant and I really feel like it makes a difference so my face does not break out as much. So we're gonna put that on. Okay, so I don't even remember how long ago this date was, but it was like, I want to say like 4 years ago, because I think I was already 21, because I think I was already at drinking age. I'm pretty positive I was 21. So it was a Tinder date, a Tinder guy, and we had been texting for like maybe like a week or something for solid liquid powder. And you know, the weekend was approaching and he wanted to take me to dinner. He wanted to go on a date. So I was like, okay. This was whenever I was young and cute, and I did whatever I wanted, and dates were like, I was just single at the time and I just didn't care, and it was just like a kind of like, whatever, somebody wants to take me to a free dinner, like let's do it. And it's not like he wasn't attractive in that moment. I thought he was a pretty cute guy. He had red hair, but I was like, I'm not gonna like dismiss him for that. Obviously that's kind of messed up. So I agreed to go on this date, and you know, Friday, I think it was a Friday night, because I feel like we were texting throughout the day and I was working and he was working, but we were like, oh yeah, we're going out tonight, yay, blah, we're going on a date. So we decided we were gonna go to dinner. So basically, he was like, well, why don't you pick a place, you know, I want you to have a good time, be comfortable, whatever. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I'll pick you up. And I said no, because my rule is if it is a first date, I have to drive myself and meet in public, which, like, obviously, I don't date anymore, but if I was going on a first date, I had to drive myself and we had to be going to a public place, so like a restaurant or the movies, whatever. So I was like, no, I have this thing, because I don't like know you, I need to drive myself and we'll meet up and go. And he was like, okay, like, I get it, that's like, I want you to feel like you're safe, whatever. So then it comes like closer to time to go, and I've, gotten ready. Oh, this is my Laura Mercier blurring primer. So he's like, I can't believe this is happening. My truck battery is like, I thought my truck was just dead, but I have people over here and it's not starting. Like, I think I need a new battery. So we might have to go out another time unless you want to pick me up, if you're comfortable picking me up. And I was like, stuff happens, right? Like, car trouble happens. And like, I had totally experienced plenty of that. And I was like, I didn't want to be like, oh, it's a sign, we're not supposed to go out. Like, that was, like, that felt stupid to me. So I was like, okay, if I'm driving, I'm in control. So, I'm driving, I picked the place, whatever, I'm going to pick him up. Because I'm not going to be like, oh, wow, yeah, whatever. He didn't just say like, oh, I can't go. So it wasn't like he was trying to blow me off. He was like, if you want to pick me up, you can. So I was like, all right, I'll pick you up. And so I drive a truck, and at this time I didn't have the truck I have now. I had my older truck, which is a 97 F-150, and took my happy little 130-pound 21-year-old self and drove over there. And he comes to get in the car. I'm going to take some Laura Mercier translucent powder. He comes to get in the car, and he's got a beer in his hand to come get in the car. And I was like, what are you doing with that? And he was like, oh, I was already drinking it, and I don't want to throw it out, so I'm just going to finish it, and then I'll toss it. And I'm like, you bring in an open container in my car, dude. And he's like, no, I'm literally almost done with it, and then I'll just toss the can out. And I'm like, whatever. Sure. And so, and I can't remember if he was that much older than me or if we were close to the same age. I feel like maybe he was probably like 24 or 25 or something, like the age I am now, which when I look back on that, I'm like, wow, you were doing the most. So, whatever, he gets in the car. And I'm like, oh, I really like this little Chinese place that I go to all the time. I didn't want to go somewhere big, fancy, hustle and bustle. I wanted something easy, quiet, because I'm not like a big going out person as much as it is. So I was like, yeah, I like this little bistro, whatever. And he was like, yeah, that's cool, sounds good. So I start heading. It's like, he lived pretty close to me, and so I'm headed out back to like the main road we need to be on, and then it's like pretty much a straight shot there. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we go to drive to the restaurant, and I told you I prefaced this, I drive a 97 F-150. So my truck decides it wants to have a problem on our way to dinner. And granted, this truck had problems, but usually it was like the same ones. So it was stuff that I like would know how to handle, like when my radiator went out, or if it had a misfire, or whatever, like things that I knew how to handle. It decided to do something completely new that I had not experienced, and it started overheating. And so, I stop the truck, I pull over in like a parking lot, and my coolant was leaking out of my truck. So it was overheating, there was no coolant in it. And I'm like, so you were having car trouble, now I'm having car trouble. And like, I'm with this stranger, I'm like, what is happening right now? I just threw on some of my complexion perfector, and I'm going to mix it with the Hint Hint skin tint, because I've been obsessed with this, so that's what we're doing. So anyway, he's like, yeah, because I had popped the hood, and he was like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And he was like, your coolant is completely empty. It's leaked out, it's gone. And I was like, great. So he was like, we can make it up the street to the, because I was like, there's an O'Reilly's like right up the street. And he was like, yeah, we can make it there. I'll get you some coolant and put it in your truck. And then we can still go to dinner, because we were already really close to the restaurant. It wasn't like we were far. So he was like, we might as well, you know, like put some coolant in it and then we'll still go to dinner because we're already like right here. And I was like, okay. I go to O'Reilly's, and this is where like the beer thing already kind of threw me off, but I was like, whatever, he's in his 20s, like whatever people like to do. So I was like, whatever, that didn't throw me off like so much. So then O'Reilly's is whenever it starts to get like questionable, and I'm like, what is going on? So we go in, and he was a pretty like hyped up kind of guy. Like his energy was just really high, and he had also been drinking beer, so I just assumed he had like a buzz going, and he was just like, I didn't know him, I just met him, so I was like, this is just his whatever. And he goes in and he's like talking to the guy in O'Reilly's, and he's you know, going, I felt like he was like going 100 miles per hour, but I was like, maybe that's just, you know, he's been drinking a little beer, that's how he is, whatever. So he pays for the coolant, and the guy goes to, and he's like paying everything cash, and the guy goes to give him his change, and I swear to God, he had like, I don't know, like $5 and something change like to get back from the guy, and he's just like, oh yeah, I don't need it, and just like walked out with the coolant, and I'm just standing there, and the guy kind of looks at me, and I was like, I guess keep it, like have a tip, I don't know. I just met him, like I don't know him. And because the guy was like, do you want it? And for the life of me, when I look back now, I'm like, girl, why did you not take this boy's change? Like, he didn't want it. You could have had you a couple dollars. Why didn't you take it? But I was just so dumbfounded. This is the Morphe 2 Glassified Lip Oil. I'm kind of obsessed with this whole line, by the way. So just a little follow-up on that. Y'all should check out Morphe 2 because I'm kind of in love with it. So anyway, he doesn't take the change. So I walk out, and like one of the guys from O'Reilly's came out with us to like help, and the guy, I don't really remember what his name was. I want to say I know what it was, but even if I did, I'm not gonna say it. But he was like, oh no, I got it. And the guy was like, well, I'll just, you know, let me help you out, man. And so he's like helping him put the coolant in the truck, and we get in the truck and we go like 5 more minutes down the road to go to dinner. Because at first I was like, you know, maybe we need to just, and he was like, no, we're right here, no big deal. So I'm like, okay. We go into the little it's this little tiny Chinese bistro that's like, I don't know, the capacity of this place is like super small, like it's a super tiny little place, and it's Chinese food. And he's trying to order alcohol in here, and this is not a place where they have like beer and like stuff like that, like they have like sake or whatever, and they had like some Chinese beer, and he was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll take that. And I was like, okay, you know, maybe it's the weekend, he's having a drink, maybe he, you know, is nervous, you know, just trying to, I give the benefit of the doubt to a lot of people. So I'm like, fine, cool. And we eat dinner, and it's just very like, I don't know, I kind of remember how he ate his food bothered me for some reason, and I just remember like him being very chatty, and I was just like uncomfortable and kind of annoyed, to be quite honest with you. I was just kind of annoyed, and I was like, all right, so this date is probably a bust, no big deal, everybody goes on bad dates, I got a free meal out of it, I'm gonna go home after this, who cares, right? Who cares? Oh, and I should probably, I should go back. I'm going to go back in the beginning of this video and put a disclaimer that this might be inappropriate for younger people if you have children, whatever. It gets to a point where there's like a couple of things that happen that are like slightly inappropriate, and I don't want to whatever anybody's, whatever. I should have said that in the beginning. But so yeah, we're finishing up dinner, and he paid, and it was fine, whatever. So dinner's done. And now I'm gonna conceal, but so dinner's done, and we're at the bistro is literally in this strip center right next to a Kroger, and he's like, oh hey, I'm out of cigarettes, can we run down to this Kroger right here and get me cigarettes? He's like, do you need cigarettes? Because at the time I still smoked, and I was like, oh no, I'm good. But yeah, we'll walk down here and grab you some cigarettes because we're right here. Makes perfect sense. So we go into Kroger and we go up to one of the registers so he can ask for cigarettes, and he goes to pay for the cigarettes and he gives them a bunch of cash, and they're going to give him his change, and once again he doesn't want to take it. He tells them no, I don't. He doesn't even tell them. He just walks away, and I'm like, your change. And he's like, I don't need it. And I'm like, is this guy trying to, he's just leaving these little bits of money behind, and he's trying to show off oh, I don't need that petty cash or whatever. What is this? I don't know that if he's trying to impress me, but I don't think it's very impressive. I think it's kind of strange and annoying. So again, I just kind of looked confused at these people. They're looking at me like I'm crazy, and I don't know him. So I was like, have a good evening, and walked away again. I didn't take it because I was just so lost. I should have totally taken it. I think if I would have taken his change everywhere he left change, I would have maybe had 10 or 15 bucks. And so I'm a little mad at myself for not taking it. But leaves the change. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Leave, go outside, go to get back in my truck, and all of a sudden I realize he's on my side of the truck instead of getting in on the passenger side. I was like, what are you doing? And he just grabs me and I can barely say kiss me. He starts his tongue in my mouth, shoves his, not even just started to aggressively make out with me, but he was a terrible kisser, and his tongue just right in my mouth. And I was like I didn't even know, and he just, I don't know. It was the most random time, the most random thing. It was, and then it wasn't even good. Maybe if it was so random and then it was good, then whatever. But it was so random, and it was so horribly, awfully bad. It was freaking terrible. So I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that. And he's like, oh, just really wanted to kiss you. Duh. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, haha, you're so funny. Get in the car. Please get in the car. Please get in the car. So he gets in the car, and we're driving down the road, and he's like, I'm sorry that we're both having vehicle problems, and I had fun hanging out with you at dinner, whatever. He's like, do you think you could take me to see my friend real quick? Or something like that. Something very weird. Strange sounding. And I was like, I'm shaking the whole table, sorry. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I was like, oh, because your truck's not running. Did you need to pick something up or something? I don't know. I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, just to be honest with you, I just I really, I could use the extra cash. I need to do this deal real quick. I was like, what? This what? He's like, oh, just for extra money, I deal cocaine. Or he probably didn't say cocaine. I think he said coke. On the side, when I not obviously he had a job, but he was like, oh, I do this for extra money. And I was like, so I'm like, if I'm taking you, does that mean you have some on you, you have drugs on you and you're in my car? That's what I'm thinking or whatever. And I was like, no. I was like, absolutely not. I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and take you home so you can find a ride from a friend or somebody and figure out your life. Let me drop you off. Let me just take you and drop you off, right? I was like, I wanted to leave him right where we were, but that's didn't want to do that, but I was like, please let me take you home. So then this boy, he starts trying to cut me in on his drug deal to take him. He goes, I'll give you $50 if you take me. It's gonna take like 2 seconds, you know, like no big deal. Like if you just take me, I'll give you $50. And I was like, no, absolutely not. I was like, you know, and I've told you, even like when we've talked and stuff, like I don't do drugs. I barely drink. I'm not involved in all that stuff. This is a little Ciate London dewy setting spray. I'm just melting powder into my face. But I don't even know if like I'm gonna get through all my makeup while I'm telling this story. But I'm like, no, like what? Like I felt like I was in a Twilight Zone. I was like, what is happening right now? And he was like upping the money. Like if he offered me more money, it was gonna change my mind, and I was gonna take him and go. He was like $70, $80, like $100. And I was like, no. The answer is no. And I was like, I will just take you and drop you off at home. And he goes, well, I didn't really get to spend that much time with you. You know, dinner was really nice, but I don't want to leave you yet. I don't want you to go home yet. You know, I'll just lose out on this one. You know, it's no big deal. It's like I'm with you right now, so it's no big deal. I'll just lose out on this one, and let's do something else. And I was like, in my head, like, I don't want. And he's like, you want to go like see a movie or something? He's like, you know, backtracking, I guess. And I was like thinking to myself, there was a movie that had come out that I wanted to see. And I was really stupid when I was young, y'all. Okay? Obviously. Have you not like caught that off of who I chose to go on a date with? So I was like, actually, I really been wanting to see, it was a Melissa McCarthy movie. I think it was called like The Boss or something. Whenever she's like the owner of the company and gets, you know, arrested or whatever happens. That movie. That's how long ago it was in the theaters. But I was like, I would like to see this movie. We were like 2 seconds from my house, which was my parents' house, because at the time I had things happen and I had moved back in with my parents. And so I was like, we're right here by my house. If we're gonna go to a movie, you know, I gotta pee, so we're right by my house, and I would like to get a jacket, so we're gonna stop so I can pee and get a jacket. And he was like, all right, yeah, sweet, like cool. And so we stopped at my parents' house, and you know, I can't remember if it was a Friday or Saturday, but it was a weekend evening. So my parents are home and they're like up and they're doing stuff, and we had just gotten done with dinner, so it had to be between like 8 and 9 o'clock. It wasn't anything late or crazy. So I couldn't leave him in my car because I'm not gonna like leave it running like with a stranger in it and him like decide to steal it or something. So I was like, all right, come on, get out. And we go into my house and my dad is sitting in his chair in the living room, and my mom is laying on the bed in her bedroom watching TV. So I was like, perfect, my mom's in her bedroom. I'm gonna go into their bedroom to go to the bathroom. And because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go say hi to my mom and go to the bathroom. And because I was like, I'll use their bathroom while I'm in there and talk to my mom and tell her. I didn't tell her like the full deal of what's going on, because she would have been like, you're absolutely not leaving again. And that was like the mentality when I was younger, is I'm like, I want to tell her that he's crazy, but I don't want to like have her be like all mom mode on me and tell me not to go back out with him. So I went in and I was like, this guy, I'm not really feeling it, but whatever. But he wants to, now that we went to dinner, he wants to go to a movie, and I would like to see this movie and I could see it for free. So I'm going to go see this movie with him. And she was like, and I told her, you know, where we were going and everything. So she was like, all right, well, I know who you're with and where you're going now. And then that was also kind of my point too, is that like my dad was literally sitting in the living room talking to him. And so he then like saw what he looked like, in case something, I don't know. But yeah, so then I like grab a jacket and we leave again. So we go to the movie theater. We get the tickets for the movie. We go in, and the movie theater has a bar in it. What does he do? He immediately goes for the bar to get a beer for the movie. immediately. And he's like, do you want anything? And I can't remember if I got anything or if I got candy or what. But he immediately went for the alcohol. So that was like the moment that I was like, all right, he drinks a lot. Seems like we might have us a little alky problem here, which, like, I'm not giving any sort of negativity toward addiction or anything, because I, like, have it in my family, things like that. But that was, like, my sign that I was like, whoa, okay, you need alcohol everywhere you go. Which, when you're, like, gonna date someone, you know, I was just like, he might not be the safest person. So I was like, that was, like, my sign on that. So, whatever. I didn't try this highlight brush the other day, so I'm gonna try it. I just did a quick bronzer blush situation, and I'm gonna try this Morphe 2 highlighting brush. But so we go into the movie, and also in my head I was like, I'll get to see this movie I want to see for free, and we're gonna be in a movie, meaning we don't have to speak, which I didn't want to talk to him very much. So I was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna go in this movie. And we get into the movie. Lo and behold, he finds a way to want to mess this up. He thought we were gonna, like, go into the movie to make out, like we were 16 or something. And I was like, hey, like, I really want to watch this. And I think he was like, oh, you really want to, like. I was like, I really want to watch this. And then he was also during the movie talking and asking me questions about what's going on. And I'm like, I hate a person like that. I'm like, please, for the love of God, watch this movie. Please watch this movie. So I go through, like, an entire movie. Since I'm obviously, like, almost done with the story and haven't done eyes yet, I'm just gonna guys, we're gonna do another, maybe I should pick a different one. I really liked this Bright Idea shade from the Morphe 2. I'm obsessed with the Morphe 2. If you haven't noticed, I've been using this stuff consistently. But I think we're gonna go in with the shade Sunshine today. So we can go in with a different shade. And we're gonna put that on. I'm not gonna use the same packer brush because I hadn't cleaned that one. So I'm gonna pull a different packer brush. This one is stained, but it is clean. So we're gonna just pull out another brush here. But, so I'm going through this entire movie, and he is trying to put his tongue down my throat. He's trying to talk to me. He is making me insane, for lack of a better whatever. He's making me crazy, and I'm like, wow, like, you had every opportunity in the world to just take him home and go home. Like, why didn't you go home? You stupid, you know what. So we watch the movie, and we go to leave, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take you home now. I think maybe it was a Friday, because I feel like I did have work the next morning, because I worked opening shifts where I worked on Saturdays at 5 a.m. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna take you home and go home and get, like, showered and go to bed. And he was like, all right, yeah, cool. He seemed bummed, but I'm like, it's late, like, I'm not going back to your house with you. I don't know what he, like, thought, but no. So we get in the car. I think I'm gonna go in with a Super Shock over top of this, a Color Pop, and I'm gonna do By the Pound. It's the Halo Top little collection. But I'm like, we are not doing anything else. I am taking you home, sir. And so we get in the car, and long drawn out. Every little detail has a something. So we get in the car, and he's just a very talkative guy. He's talking to me the whole way home, blah, blah, blah. And so, very annoying. It was just I was annoyed. I was so done. So anyway, I'm gonna grab also extra sprinkles, another Super Shock, and use that and just kind of like dab in here. I'm literally not doing anything today. I just obviously am a makeup page. So I wasn't just gonna get on here and talk and be super boring. We're gonna put some some face on. But so anyway, driving him home, and it was so once we had made it all the way out to where the movie theater was, it was a pretty decent drive to take him back home. And I was like, I've always had a stereo in my truck because I like to bang, which I know the way I look, my exterior, which was another reason why soon I'm going to be doing a get to know me tag for you guys. The way I look, I feel like does not portray me as a person, but I like to listen to really loud music and bass, so I always have stereo. And I was like desperately trying to be like, ooh yeah, I love this song, and like turn my stereo up to like shut him up and drown him out, which I know sounds terrible, but like guys, I was so ready to be done. So finally, after I would say maybe like a 25 minute drive, we make it back to his house. And I can't remember if he kissed me again or tried to, and I like shut it down and was like, please, for the love of God, do not kiss me again. But we make it back to his house, and he's like going to get out, and the way that I was, like, his house was on my side from the way that I like pulled in, and I was just like on the street. I didn't pull into his driveway or anything because I was like ready to frickin' go. And so he comes around to my side, and I had the door locked, so he couldn't open it. I left the door locked, and I just rolled the window down and was like talking to him through the window, which I think also threw him off because he thought that like I would get out or open the door, and I most definitely did not do those things. And he's like talking to me, and he's like, I had a really good time, and I'm like, you had a really good time, good for you, I'm so ready to go home. And so I'm just taking a little like camel brown shade and kind of blending out my little shimmer moment I just did, which is actually really cute. When I don't like think about what I'm doing with my makeup, it looks so much better. But so yeah, I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, it's great. He goes, all right, well, call me. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I took off. I never texted him back again. I never called him again. I think he had texted me and said something along the lines of like, oh, I thought we had a good time. No, sir, you are mistaken. You are a drug dealer, and you are crazy. Because that was also the other thing that I forgot to mention, is that I realized that hyper like situation going on, lo and behold, I'll almost guarantee you, not only was he drinking, but he was also high. Love that. He tried to tell me that he just dealt it on the side like for extra money, and he didn't do it, but I was like, that's the biggest crock I've ever heard. And that's also you like realizing how insane this is and like backtracking. Because no sir, no. So yeah, I picked terrible people whenever I was younger, which I'm sure everybody does. I feel like everybody goes through all those types of things and has, you know, bad dates, bad experiences, whatever, which I have more. So if you guys like this video and you think that this is hilarious and you want to hear more about some crazy messed up dates or whatever, I will think some up and definitely make more of this if you guys are interested. So please let me know if that is something that you would like for me to do. So I just did a little bit of brow pencil and a little bit of brow gel, and I'm going to set with my Milani matte setting spray because this is my favorite setting spray in the whole world. I know it's small, but it works really good, so I keep repurchasing it. Just like does what it's supposed to do. And that little layer of powder I put on under my stuff really keeps me from getting all oily throughout the day, so that's what I like to do. So I just do that little layer of like translucent powder before my liquid makeup, and it really helps with my super oily skin. And I'm just gonna take some of ColourPop's Brownie Points BFF mascara. So it is a brown mascara. I have been loving this because I've been kind of doing more like minimal natural makeup for the summertime. I've just like really in my no makeup feels. So I feel like the brown is just like a more natural look. It does volumize because this is a volumizing mascara, but it's not like overboard, and just really nice. So I have enjoyed it personally. Sorry, I had to make mascara face here. It like actually didn't hurt, but I just totally hit my elbow on this drawer that I still have open. Guys, I'm a mess. Now that I'm looking at my top lashes, I'm like, build them up a little bit more, just a little bit. This is a black brown, so it's a little bit darker. I keep forgetting I have a new eyelash curler in my stuff that Hannah actually bought me, which it was so sweet of her because she didn't have to do that. But I had like picked it out in the store, and then I was like, nah, I don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel like buying it right now. I'll do it later. And then she like sneaky just didn't put it. I said, because it was in, she was pushing the cart around, and I was like, can you just take that eyelash curler and just like sit it somewhere? We were in like TJ Maxx, and she bought it for me because she's a sweetheart. This is totally a curl that's like curled the other way and should be on this side of my head. Like, okay, sure, whatever. I feel like I need to. Me. Does anybody else do that? I am a big hair flipper because I like to fluff and volumize my hair. I actually used to have, it was funny, like guys don't understand things, and I used to have like friends at the bar. I'd go to the bathroom and then come back and my hair would be all like whatever, and they'd be like, how do you like go to the bathroom real quick and you come back and like your hair is like, I'm like, oh, I just flipped it while I was in there and readjusted it. But yeah, so that was my little awful date get ready with me story time video. You guys tell me what you think about that video. I am going to get stuff together for the get to know me tag soon and do that because a lot of people responded to that and they were like, yes, please do it. So I will do that soon. I obviously can't like my hair today, but I will do that soon. And just again, sound off, let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this. It was actually pretty fun, so hopefully it's well liked and we can do it again. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next one.